I've always believed that when everything's ready, it's too late. True entrepreneurs do things before everything's perfect. They don't wait for the stars to align. They create their own constellations. If Jack Ma had waited for everything to be in place, there would be no Alibaba. Just think about that. This is a guy who failed so many times in so many ways. I failed the university entrance exam not once, not twice, but 3 times. I had no money. My parents were incredibly poor, and we lived in a rural area. There was no chance for a kid like me to make it in the big city. Yet, here we are. And I look at Africa today. I see a continent that is in a much better position than China was 19 years ago when we started Alibaba. When we first began, people used the internet at a terribly slow speed. When I launched my business in 1994, I invited so many people to see it, and they just laughed. They'd say, "Jack is telling a lie. There's no such thing as the internet." I even had trouble registering my company. I went to the company registration office and told them I wanted to start a Hangzhou internet consulting company. The officer looked at me with confusion and said, "Internet, there's no such word in the dictionary. We can't register this." China wasn't even connected to the internet back then. But 3 months after I registered my company, China finally connected. To prove I wasn't a liar, I invited a TV crew to my apartment. We waited 3.5 hours just for the first front page to download. It was a true moment. People finally saw it. At that time, nobody believed in the internet. Nobody believed in e-commerce. Nobody believed China could possibly have e-commerce because we didn't have the necessary logistics or credit cards. People are asking the same exact questions about Africa today. How can you have internet companies? You don't have credit cards. You don't have the logistic infrastructure. You don't have government support. But that, my friends, is the opportunity. As entrepreneurs, we don't complain. We make other people complain. We make our competitors complain. We never cry. Crying can solve nothing. We make our competitors cry. We make the people who don't believe in our dreams cry. In my tiny apartment, where we started with 18 founders, we had a huge dream. We said, we want to become one of the top 10 internet companies or websites in the world. At that time, we were ranked in the several millions. Who were we to aim so high? We also said, we want to make this company last 102 years. And yet, we didn't know if we would get a paycheck next month. But when you have a dream, you know what you are doing. We never said, we will win next year, or we will win tomorrow. We said, we will win in 10 or 20 years. 19 years have passed, and today, we are indeed one of the top 10 internet companies in the world. We never expected that Alibaba's e-commerce business alone would have a market cap of over $500 billion. Can you imagine anyone 19 years ago saying a company in China could be one of the top 10 internet companies in the world? Or a company in Asia? So, I believe that in 10 or 20 years, Africa will have at least 10 or 20 companies like Alibaba. Because if you don't dream and if you don't start to work, it will never happen. But if you start, you have a chance. Even if you don't make $500 billion, $50 billion is perfectly okay. When we started to hire people, we couldn't hire anyone at all. Nobody wanted to join a company with a strange name like Alibaba, working out of a small apartment. Nobody believed in e-commerce or the internet, so we hired anybody who could walk. We didn't care if you had a master's degree or a bachelor's degree. As long as you were a believer, you were in. We started with nothing. It was true for the first 10 years. The days were tough, very difficult. We couldn't find customers. We couldn't find good engineers. We couldn't get any resources. We couldn't get money from the banks. People say, in Africa, we can't get loans from the banks. Everywhere in the world, banks do not give money to small businesses. That's why we became very careful with every single cent we spent. On the day of our first IPO in 2007, we had a lot of millionaires in the company. Around 300 people became millionaires. I asked my colleagues, "Hey, now tell me, did you become millionaires because you were smarter than others?" They all said, "No, no, 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 no. We couldn't even find jobs." I asked, "Was it because you were hardworking?" They said, "Yes, but we know more people who are more hardworking than us, and they didn't succeed." So what was the reason? All the smart people at that time went to work for Microsoft and IBM. Headhunting companies would come and try to hire the best people from us, but they never came for us. We were the people nobody wanted to headhunt. We had nowhere else to go. We believed in ourselves, we believed in our dream, and we worked together. I am the person who was rejected by over 30 companies. We are the people who got used to being rejected. We are the people who got used to being told no. Why should people help you? People helping you is unusual. People not helping you is very common. You have to work to earn the help. To encourage the 17 founders and all the people who joined us, I told them, our competitors are very good and very strong. At that time, our main competitor was eBay. A lot of the eBay guys graduated from Harvard. We were people who graduated from, well, I don't even want to mention the university names. We were nobody. But I told them, if we can win, if we can succeed, then 80% of the young people in China, in the world, can be successful. Because a lot of people have dreams, but they don't work hard. A lot of people work hard, but they don't have dreams. Entrepreneurs must have both hard work and dreams. In this way, we can win. Today, people say, Alibaba, you succeeded. Our company is only 19 years old. Why do we say our company will last 102 years? Because every goal we give to our team should be accurate. We were born in 1999, which was the last century. We have 1 year left in this century, then we want to spend 100 years in the next. And 1 more year to cross 3 centuries. That's very accurate. We will never say we are successful. We just survived 19 years. We are lucky. But in the past 19 years, we have made thousands of mistakes. As an entrepreneur, don't learn from other people's successes. Learn from their failures. So many business schools teach you success stories. When you read too many successful case studies, you start to think you can be successful, but that's not true. There are so many things you don't know. Some business school professors came to Alibaba to write a case study. They studied for a week and then said, "This is Alibaba." And I said, "No, this is not Alibaba." They wanted me to sign it. They said, "Jack, you don't know yourself." So I signed it. For the next 5 years, I was invited every year to a university to listen to the business school students discuss our case study. They always compared us to a competitor, and they always concluded that Alibaba would die and the competitor would win. Whoa. But 5 years later, all those competitors had died. So how can you learn from case studies like that? Learn from mistakes. The mistakes that most companies make are the same. But the reasons for their success are different, and you don't know those reasons. When you learn from mistakes, it's not because you want to avoid them. It's because when you see these kinds of problems, you know how to face them. An entrepreneur must have a strong heart toward difficulties, mistakes, troubles, and failures. But you should have a warm and soft heart toward your colleagues and your customers. One of the things I want to share is our core values. We have 6, but 2 are very unique to Alibaba that I think the whole world should think about. We put customers number 1, colleagues number 2, and shareholders number 3. Most companies, especially on Wall Street, put shareholders first. I said the customer is the most important. If you serve them well, they will pay you. And the second most important are your colleagues. Why do we all get together? Because we want to serve the customers. If they don't serve the customers, why are we getting together? So if the customer is happy and the colleagues are happy, the shareholders will be happy. The next value is to embrace change. In this changeable world, constantly changing is the best way to be successful. I remember in the year 2000, when I was trying to raise money, I went to a lot of venture capitalists. They would say, "Jack, give me your business plan." I said, "I don't have a business plan." They said, "Write something." They look at others who had thick business plans. One person had a whole book on how to be successful in e-commerce in China. I asked, how can they write a book? China wasn't even connected to the internet yet. We never changed our dreams, but we did change ourselves. We learned from our own mistakes and the mistakes of others, and we changed to become successful. That's how we did it. There are so many great conditions for big companies. It is time we created policies for startups, for young companies. I encourage all entrepreneurs. If you want to start a business, don't think you will be successful next month or next year. Think about at least 5 years. Because if something can be successful next month, you don't need to be a startup. You just need to have a rich father. And by the way, don't be discouraged because you have a poor diploma or graduated from a less than famous university. Don't worry about that. If you graduate from MIT or Harvard, you might never become an entrepreneur. You'll only be a white-collar worker. So what's the strategy for an entrepreneur? The strategy is time. In 10 years, you compete with other people with your vision. Where will the world be? What kind of customers will they need? Can we build it? If you prepare for 5 or 10 years, and if you have a good team, you'll always do things before the government does. If you're waiting for the government, you have no chance. When the government says there's an opportunity and a direction, it's already too crowded there. As an entrepreneur, you should always ask yourself 3 questions. What do you have? What do you want? And what will you give up? What do you have? We had nothing. The only things we had were a dream, our belief, our team, and the time to work hard. What do you want? You have to ask what the customer wants. What is the problem in society? What is the problem for your customers? What does your team want? What will you give up? If you are not willing to give up everything, you will get nothing. A lot of business people never learn to focus. If you're a startup, learn to be focused on one thing. It's like having 9 rabbits on the ground. If you try to catch them all, you'll end up with nothing. So don't try to change the rabbits. Change yourself to catch that one rabbit until you get it. There are so many things we have to learn. It's a great experience to be an entrepreneur. Life is so cool when you become one. I've even never written a book about myself because I think people who write books are getting too old. My life is just beginning. The day I do write one, I want to title it Alibaba 1001 Mistakes. I want to tell my kids how many tough days I went through and how many silly mistakes I made. This is the best experience. It's easy to be good, but it's tough to be bad. Can you imagine being rejected from 30 jobs, failing countless times, and still having the courage to keep going? Most people would have given up. But Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba, took a different path. He didn't just believe in his dreams. He turned them into a reality that has impacted millions of lives around the world. In a world where most people wait for the perfect conditions, Jack Ma proves that the key to success lies not in luck or resources, but in the unwavering belief that great dreams can become great achievements. Let us explore each of these teachings a little further and discover how they can change the way you face life as challenges. We'll explore how Jack Ma overcame difficulties that seemed insurmountable, turning obstacles into opportunities, and how he stayed focused on his goals even when success seemed far away. Stay with us a little longer and get ready for a journey of deep learning where you'll see a little more of the brilliant strategies Jack Ma used to build an empire. Most importantly, every lesson presented here has the potential to transform your life forever. The value of resilience. Jack Ma is the perfect example of how resilience can transform someone's life. After being rejected from 30 jobs, including one at KFC, he decided he wouldn't let the rejections define his future. Instead of giving up, he saw each rejection as a learning opportunity, adapting to the circumstances and maintaining the conviction that success would come if he kept trying. This lesson in resilience is especially relevant for those who face difficulties at the beginning of their journey. It's often easy to lose hope when results don't appear immediately. But Jack Ma's story reminds us that success often comes after countless failures. He turned these failures into fuel to continue his journey, showing that true strength lies in the ability to get back up after each fall. Perhaps you're going through a time when you feel discouraged. Remember that Jack Ma himself, one of the richest men in the world, went through situations of extreme difficulty. But never let these difficulties stop him from believing in his dreams and working tirelessly for them. Resilience also means adapting to change, something Jack Ma did brilliantly by reinventing himself with each new obstacle. When he couldn't get a job, he decided to create opportunities, showing that the true essence of resilience is the ability to adjust and find creative solutions to the most difficult problems. Opportunities beyond difficulties. Jack Ma firmly believes that difficulties are a form of disguise for opportunities. As a young man, he faced a series of setbacks, from being rejected by universities to not being able to get simple jobs. However, rather than seeing these obstacles as the end of his ambitions, he saw them as lessons that prepared him for something greater. For Ma, every challenge he encountered was an opportunity to think differently and innovate. This mentality of turning problems into opportunities is what distinguishes great entrepreneurs. Ma encouraged his colleagues and young entrepreneurs to see difficulties as doors to new horizons, pointing out that it is these barriers that push us to be more creative and resilient. He said that the greater the challenge, the greater the reward, because it forces people to think outside the box and look for new solutions. For example, when Jack Ma faced the challenge of creating an e-commerce platform in China, he didn't have access to capital or technology infrastructure. But that didn't stop him. He used the limitation as an opportunity to focus on a different business model, more geared towards small merchants. This turned Alibaba into the giant it is today, proving that the greatest opportunities are born in times of difficulty. Opportunities and difficulties are always intertwined. Like Jack Ma, you may be facing challenges that seem insurmountable. But the real magic happens when you start to see beyond the surface of the problem and discover the potential it carries. Every obstacle can be the key to opening a new door. You just need the courage and persistence to turn the lock. The entrepreneurial spirit precedes preparation. Jack Ma has always stressed that the true entrepreneur doesn't wait for everything to be perfect before taking action. When he founded Alibaba, he didn't have the technical knowledge or the right connections. But that didn't stop him from moving forward. For Ma, the important thing is to start, even if you're not fully prepared. Because it's during the process that you learn and adjust. His courage to forge ahead, despite the uncertainties, is a common trait among great visionaries. This philosophy can be applied to anyone who has an idea or project in mind, but still feels unsure about taking the first step. Jack Ma shows that it's normal not to have all the answers at the start. He himself admitted that when he started Alibaba, he didn't know much about technology. But that didn't stop him from surrounding himself with the right people and learning along the way. The entrepreneurial spirit is one that acts and solves problems as they arise. Ma believes that many people fail to achieve success because they wait for the perfect moment, which never comes. The big secret, according to him, is to get started and adapt along the way. If you wait for an ideal scenario, the opportunity may go unnoticed. What defines a successful entrepreneur is not preparation, but the willingness to face the unknown and learn from every mistake made. It's not about being totally ready. It's about being willing to evolve along the way. Like Jack Ma, you may have a great idea, but feel you need more time to prepare. The truth is that the perfect time never comes. What you can do now is take the first step, trusting that the rest of the path will be revealed as you move forward. The value of long-term vision. For Jack Ma, success is never instantaneous. He always emphasized the importance of having a long-term vision, and this mindset was crucial to Alibaba's growth. From the outset, Ma knew it would take years to build a solid and sustainable platform, and he was willing to wait. This strategic patience is what differentiates successful entrepreneurs from those who seek immediate results and often get frustrated. Ma advises entrepreneurs to think in terms of 5 to 10 years. He believes that it is essential to have a clear goal for the future, but also to be flexible to adjust course as circumstances change. For him, a long-term vision offers a sense of direction that helps get through the difficult times when results are not yet visible. It is during this time that resilience and the ability to adapt to change become valuable. This approach of patience and persistence can be challenging in today's world, where instant gratification is often valued. However, Ma is proof that great things take time to build. By focusing on the future, he managed to transform Alibaba into one of the world's largest e-commerce companies, even when the obstacles seemed insurmountable. Having a long-term vision doesn't mean ignoring the present, but rather working today with a clear purpose for tomorrow. As Jack Ma points out, patience is one of an entrepreneur's greatest assets. You may be at a stage where the results haven't yet appeared, but that doesn't mean they won't come. Long-term vision is what allows you to keep moving forward, even when the path seems uncertain. Learning from mistakes. Jack Ma is a great advocate of the idea that failure teaches you more than success. He himself has experienced many mistakes throughout his career, but has always seen them as learning opportunities. For Ma, every mistake made is a lesson that brings him closer to his ultimate goal. This approach allows him and any entrepreneur to constantly grow and improve. Ma believes that by failing, you discover what doesn't work and adjust your path. He stresses that mistakes are inevitable, but giving up should not be an option. Instead of seeing failure as an insurmountable obstacle, Ma sees it as a sign that adjustments are needed to achieve success. He advises that when people make mistakes, they shouldn't blame themselves, but learn from them and move on. One of Jack Ma's best-known stories involves his failed attempt to create a company before Alibaba. This failure made him realize the importance of adapting quickly to changes and market needs. Instead of getting down on himself, he used this experience to create a more robust business model, which eventually led to the success of Alibaba. For him, every mistake is a stepping stone, as long as it is used intelligently. Learning from mistakes is one of the greatest advantages of those who are willing to take risks. If you've already failed, know that you're on the right track. Like Jack Ma, use these experiences to refine your skills and strategies, and you'll see that success is closer than you think. Customers first. For Jack Ma, Alibaba's success has always been based on putting customers first. From the outset, he understood that a business can only thrive if it meets the needs of its consumers. Ma prioritized customers over shareholders, an approach that ensured the public's loyalty and trust in Alibaba, something essential for the company's growth. This philosophy may seem counterintuitive in a world where the focus tends to be on immediate profit. But Jack Ma knew that by ensuring customer satisfaction, profits would come as a natural consequence. He always said that if customers are happy, shareholders will be too. His vision was long-term, focusing on creating a solid base of loyal customers, which would sustain the company in difficult times. This customer-centric approach can also be applied to other aspects of life. Jack Ma's model teaches us that by putting people first, we create stronger, longer-lasting relationships. When a customer perceives that their needs are being taken seriously, they become not just a buyer, but a brand advocate. Ma believed that this human connection was the true differentiator for the success of any business. Whether in business or in life, putting the other person first may seem risky. But as Jack Ma demonstrates, this is the key to building something that really lasts. Customer focus is more than a strategy. It's a philosophy of life that can transform any project into something great. The importance of dreaming big. Jack Ma has always encouraged people to dream big. For him, there are no geographical or economic limits that should restrict one's ambitions. From the very beginning of Alibaba, Ma thought in global terms. not just local ones. He believed that entrepreneurs should not limit their dreams to the country or market in which they operate, but think about how their ideas could impact the world. Dreaming big also means not being afraid to fail. Jack Ma recalls that many people give up on their ambitions because they think that dreaming big is too risky. However, he emphasizes that the real risk lies in dreaming too small. Ma believed that by dreaming big, people challenged themselves to overcome their own limits and thus ended up achieving much more than they thought possible. Alibaba, now one of the largest companies in the world, began as an ambitious dream in a market that was dominated by giants. Jack Ma was unafraid to compete with large corporations because he knew that his edge lay in innovation and the ability to think big. His message is clear. By dreaming big, you not only expand your own possibilities, but also influence the people around you to do the same. You may be tempted to dream small for fear of failure, but remember the words of Jack Ma. If you dream small, you will live small. So don't be afraid to expand your horizons and imagine all that can be achieved. Big dreams have the power to change the world. Focus and determination. For Jack Ma, success is directly linked to the ability to focus on a single goal. He uses the metaphor of rabbits to illustrate his philosophy. If you try to catch 2 rabbits at the same time, you'll end up catching none. This principle applies not only to business, but to any endeavor in life. Jack Ma has always emphasized that staying focused is the key to achieving great things, because scattered energy and attention only lead to mediocre results. When founding Alibaba, Jack Ma faced countless distractions and challenges, but he knew that his ultimate goal was to build a global e-commerce platform. This relentless focus was crucial to the company's success. While many entrepreneurs get lost in several ideas at once, Ma advises choosing one and dedicating yourself to it with total determination. Persistence in a single direction allows you to achieve depth and excellence rather than superficiality on several fronts. In addition to focus, determination is what drives entrepreneurs forward. Jack Ma believes that without determination, even the best business plan will fail. During the early years of Alibaba, he faced countless adversities but never lost sight of his goal. This combination of focus and determination allowed Ma to transform a small startup into a global empire, showing that true success comes from those who persist even when the path seems impossible. Staying focused can be difficult, especially in a world full of distractions. But like Jack Ma, by concentrating your energy on a single goal and staying determined, you'll be closer to catching your rabbit. The power of collaboration. For Jack Ma, success is never a solitary journey. Since the beginning of Alibaba, he has always emphasized that the true power of a company comes from collaboration between its members. Ma believes that a strong team, united by a common goal, can overcome any challenge, no matter how formidable it may seem. This philosophy of teamwork has been one of the fundamental pillars of Alibaba's exponential growth, which has made it one of the largest e-commerce platforms in the world. Jack Ma also emphasizes that the role of a leader is to know how to get the best out of each team member. He compares a team to an orchestra, where each person has a unique talent and the role of the leader is to coordinate these talents to create harmony. Collaboration, according to Ma, goes beyond simple cooperation. It involves trust, communication, and the commitment to work together, even in the most difficult times. When a team is truly aligned with the same purpose, it becomes unbeatable. What's more, Jack Ma has never held himself solely responsible for Alibaba's success. He always gave credit to his team, recognizing that the collective effort was what enabled the company to grow from a small startup to a global empire. Success comes from working together, where each person contributes their skills and knowledge to achieve a greater goal. This proves that the real strength of a company lies in the people who make it up. The courage to face challenges. Jack Ma has never shied away from challenges. From the beginning of his career, he faced obstacles that would have made many give up, but he always maintained a resilient mindset. For Ma, the courage to face the unknown and the unpredictable is what defines a true entrepreneur. He believes that it is not only success that shapes a person, but above all the failures and difficulties they are able to overcome. This courage to face challenges is what allowed Jack Ma to continue when many others would have given up. From the first attempts to create Alibaba to the economic crises the company faced, Ma never allowed fear to paralyze him. He saw every difficulty as an opportunity to learn and grow. This mindset of seeing challenges as opportunities is what he encourages in other entrepreneurs. Failure is not the end, but a necessary step toward success. Jack Ma also points out that having courage doesn't mean not feeling fear, but acting in spite of it. Courage, he says, is the fuel that keeps an entrepreneur going, even when everything seems uncertain. In a world of constant change, it is essential to have the ability to adapt and face adversity head-on. Jack's resilient mindset proves that challenges are only part of the path to success, and that true greatness comes from those who have the courage to keep going. Now that you know the secrets behind Jack Ma's success, the question remains, what are you going to do with it? It's not enough to just listen to the lessons. You have to put them into practice. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise, and that true power lies in continuing even when everything seems to be against you. So, are you going to leave your ideas on paper, or are you going to turn your dreams into reality?